as we review this movie from the side of a mountain. That's the sound of another car about ready to fall off the mountain and hit our car.
Yep.
I love this movie, man. So we just got out of Mission Impossible Fallout, which, look, all you really need to know about the plot of this movie is they need to get plutonium. There's plutonium. There's bombs that are going to go off. They need to get to the plutonium and stop the bombs from going off. What you're here for in this movie is, like the rest of them, what is this now?
That was my book. I bought a book. The Adventures of...
My Bible! What you're here for in this movie is the insane amount of stunt work that goes on in this movie, and trust me, it's all in there, 2.5 hours worth. This movie's intense. It's intense, it's fun. Man, I had a great time in this film.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
It, like, the plot made less sense than usual, but whatever.
I don't know. There's still the second one as far as...
You mentioned, like, when we were talking outside, I'm like, man, I really should have rewatched the other however many other movies there were of Mission Impossible franchise, but I kept up. I know I've seen them all.
Yeah.
It's just they tend to kind of bleed together in my mind. Like, the parts that stick out are, like, the parts where, like I remember a part where he was, like, somersaulting through the darkened cobblestone streets, and I remember poor sweet Benji getting a bomb strapped to him, and I remember Philip Seymour Hoffman, but it's like... Past that, it's just like a wave of action scenes. Then
there's all of like the main like kind of set pieces that they sell the movie on. The last one
like sitting on top of that thing in Dubai.
That wasn't even the part of the movie. That was just him on his downtime. That was just him on his that was when they were doing 4, which is he was scaling the building. The last 5 was where he's hanging onto the airplane at the beginning of it when it takes off. 2 was mass fucking insanity. Man, Laura came with us, and she hadn't seen the other ones, so we didn't have time to sit through all the other ones. And I actually would really like to go back and watch them all again, because I love these fucking movies.
Yeah, I figure I might as well, because apparently I remember way less of them than I thought I did. But the girl one was, like, with him on the side of that building in Dubai, right? Or wasn't she? She was in the room with Benji?
I thought she didn't come into it until Rebecca Ferguson?
Yeah.
I thought she didn't come into it until the last one, but I might be wrong.
Maybe not. It was a different girl one.
But, I mean, I might be wrong, but she was definitely there in the last one. And so I showed, Laura all the trailers earlier, so that kind of caught her up a
I should have watched all the trailers, and then I would have...
But when it was the second one, she was like... This is the one I can't wait to see. Where they're practically having sword fights with motorcycles in midair. Where you've seen the second one, right? Or have you not seen the second one? Where it opens, where he's on the side of the mountain, and the message he gets is sent to him via rocket encased in sunglasses that launches into the desert. He takes out the sunglasses, slow motion. It's got the earpiece. This message will self-destruct. Throws it away. Fucking explode. Sure, why not?
Because this one was a little bleaker than I remember the other ones being. And like, not to its detriment, but it seemed like it was... Because it was just like I said, in comparison to like exploding sunglasses, he was just like in a room with like... I think it was Moby Dick. It said Herman Melville on the front. And he opened it up and it just like played a little video and he's like, this will self-destruct.
It's pretty
sat there staring off into the distance.
2 is really the only one that's like that. It's pretty tonally consistent with 3, 4, and 5. Like hell, 3 has that opening where the explosion happens in the middle of Carrie Russell's head because Philip Seymour Hoffman implanted a exploding chip inside of her. So for me, it was pretty tonally, like it really was. It's as much as I do like the first one a lot, and the second one's fun. It really was. We were talking about this outside. It really was 3 when they kind of
hit their stride,
hit their tone at least, because this one's pretty much in keeping with those. But like those, each one kind of ups the ante a little bit on how much insane stunt work goes on into him. There is like helicopter chases in this, hanging from ropes from the helicopters, 2 helicopters hanging down from a fucking mountain, about ready to hit one another.
Well, they do, because they're like trapped in like a chasm.
Yeah. There's jumping from rooftop to rooftop, just motorcycle chases into oncoming traffic.
And I think I mentioned this when we were watching the preview. This one seemed to humanize him a little bit, because there were bits where, like, he would just like stop and take a beat and be like,
oh yeah.
Or like when he's like riding his motorcycle through the streets and then he just like he turns around and just gets like bashed with the car and just like somersaults. It's like
the others do a good job of that too. Once they hit like 3 and 4, where that's what I like about that's what one of the things I really like about Ethan Hunt is that he will like, of course he's going to survive this shit. He survived all of these movies so far, and by that I mean Tom Cruise has survived all these movies so far.
Yeah.
But there is always that moment where he does kind of have to take a little bit of a breath at first before he jumps out the window, or before he scaled the building in 4, or even in 5 when he had to hold his breath underwater for like 5 minutes and he dove into that big like fucking water funnel, whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah.
And there was that moment where Simon Pegg goes, "Oh, Ethan's got this," and it cuts to Cruise. It's like, I like Ethan Hunt a lot, because Ethan Hunt's also a character who's funny without realizing he's funny. Like, he doesn't have quips or one-liners or anything like that. He gets laughs out of, like, again, taking a moment going, "I'm jumping out a window." And even little, like, reactions he has when when he says to Simon Pegg in this, like, "I'm not gonna let you die." And Simon Pegg's like, How are you not gonna let me die? And he pauses like, "Look, I haven't finished thinking about it yet." Like, he's saying he's saying it totally serious. Like, he's, again, like I said, he's a character who, he gets a lot of laughs out of this movie without realizing that he's being funny, the character. And again, I mean, we saw this on an IMAX screen, and there's never a dull moment in this film. The movie
there's like several minutes where I was just like sitting like this because I couldn't unclench my hands. And like the biggest laughs I thought were from scenes something so absolutely absurd happens, like, oh no, how's Ethan gonna get out of this one?
Or, I mean, I was laughing at some stuff Laura was saying next to me, like, when she says, "Not even being struck by lightning can stop Tom Cruise." That happens in this film. When they halo jump out of an airplane, he gets hit by lightning.
He's fine.
He's fine. He's got to save Henry Cavill. It knocked his ass out.
His only mistake was not being Ethan Hunt.
Yeah, exactly. And then, you remember when the female cop took one in the side, and Tom Cruise goes to like, "You're gonna be okay, you're gonna be okay." Laura's sitting next to me and goes, "Just kiss me, you fool." There's this random cop who just takes, is only in it for one scene. But there's a lot of reveals that happen in the movie in certain sequences, like the openings. A lot of it involves the masks. They do a good job working that into the plot in this. And I like the way they incorporate masks and different reveals in this film, where it's almost like a magic trick. There's quite a few scenes in this movie where they're telling another person a plan, you're thinking it's going to go one way, but then there's a really good reveal, and it was something wildly different. And it's surprising and has a good laugh to it. It is very predictable about who's going to be the villain in this film.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask, is this the mustache that all the fuss was about?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, because
Henry Cavill, yeah.
He's just got like this big ostentatious mustache.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is this like a plot-driven mustache? Why is it so important he retained this shit?
I thought he was pulling off the mustache.
Yeah, but again, why was it a sticking point? Did he have it? It didn't turn out to be an exploding mustache, or did they defuse the bomb by that's like hidden under his bristles? He's just got a fucking mustache.
I mean, what happened there was he got called back on reshoots for Justice League,
So maybe they had
while
already
he
shot
was
him with the mustache?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was while they were filming this movie, he got called back on reshoots, and the producers of this movie didn't want him shaving the mustache, so does it take him a long time to grow a mustache? Maybe, I don't know. Or maybe they were just like, yeah, let's just fuck with the Justice League. Let's see if they can CGI it out.
There was a moment in this movie where I had the genuine thought of, oh no, maybe he's not going to make it in time.
I was thinking that, you talking about Tom Cruise?
Yeah.
I was thinking that with quite a few characters in this movie. Because, yeah, I mean, I didn't think Tom Cruise was going to die in this film, but there were moments in this movie where I was like, if one of these people in his team gets it in this movie, I'm like,
I thought Juicy Benji was going to cag it, and I was about to, like, go on murder rage.
Yeah, like, there were moments where I kind of had that thought in my head. I was like, I'm not gonna put any money on everyone surviving in this movie. And yeah, there are parts where I'm like, I don't think Tom Cruise is gonna die in this film, but man, one of these bombs might actually go off.
Yeah, well, he's in his airplane, like chasing after Henry Cavill's airplane with, like, nary a plan in his brain, and he just, like, says to himself, like, I gotta do it, I can't let everyone down, and it's like, he's gonna let everyone down, isn't he?
If this were 24, that's exactly what would happen.
It ends as just a recreation of the beginning.
Yeah. This is a fucking Resident Evil movie all of a sudden. No, like, Laura was asking me, at what point did he break his foot? And I go, like, oh yeah, that was when he just jumped from one building. Remember when he jumped from one building to the other, and he caught the bar? I'm pretty sure that was he walked it off. He's fine.
Yeah, he's all good.
He just limped it off. I love the part too where he and the first scene with him and Michelle Moynihan in this film, in the last act of the movie, where they haven't seen each other in years. You see them in the trailer together, but, like, they haven't seen each other in years, and they kind of have this moment. He whispers something into her ear, and then just bolts and takes off running with that 100-mile-per-hour Tom Cruise run. I was cracking up because I was picturing in my head that that's just how he ends all his conversations.
Okay, bye.
Where's he going? He's already blocks away right before I finish that sentence.
He's running off into the sunset. But yeah, I did have a fear that Benji was going to die, because he's my favorite, and
right,
like, my favorites tend to die.
That means he's dead.
Yeah, pretty much.
You killed him. I know, I'm thinking in my head, I was like, is his contract up for this one?
They're all looking pretty old, and I was glad that they, like, kind of leaned into it and made them look just kind of tired and too old for this shit, you know? But I wonder how many more of them there's going to be.
I don't know. Tom Cruise will be 90 years old and still doing these movies. He'll be 90 years old and he'll look like he's the same age he is now. When Tom Cruise is 90, he'll finally look 55 years old. Well,
the girl one looked young, but she's a new young one, so presumably by then he'll get, like, a new girl one.
Yeah, Jeremy Renner didn't make it back for this one.
Yeah, I'd completely forgotten he was in the fifth one. And, like, at the beginning of this movie, I thought that Henry Cavill was going to be, like, the new Jeremy Renner. But he wasn't.
No, and I didn't really think that. Jeremy Renner was in the last two. He doesn't pop up in this one. I can't remember if he died in the last one, but even if he did, why would that stop him from being in this one? I didn't really think that about Henry Cavill in this. Like, when I saw the trailer, like, maybe a little bit, but also, when they were talking about this kind of mystery figure that someone was gonna be in this movie, I'm like, it's gonna be him. He's gonna turn out to be the villain in this movie.
See, I hadn't heard that, and, like, the part where they're both going to go jump out of the plane, and and Tom Cruise looks down and is like, maybe we should take a step back, because it is like super storming down there, and Henry Cavill's like, wait, and jumps out. I thought, okay, he'll be like the reckless hothead, and him and Tom Cruise will form an unlikely alliance. But then Tom Cruise saves him, and he lands, and Henry Cavill's only reaction is, hey dude, you lost your oxygen tank. It's like, oh, okay, he's the bad guy. guy.
Yeah. They were just having witty banter. Tom Cruise is in his 50s. He needs an extra second or two before jumping into a thunderstorm from 20 miles in the sky.
Like, wreck up his sciatica.
All these stunts in this movie, man. I'm like, dear fucking God.
Yeah, like half this movie is car chase.
Half this movie is car chase, outstanding stunts throughout all these movies. I'm like, good God, I respect the fuck out of this guy. Holy shit. It's funny to even going back and seeing the trailer for the first movie, because we watched all the trailers for him earlier. Mm-hmm. Even watching the trailer for the first movie, which was 22 years ago.
Yeah.
And he's in better shape now than when he did the first movie 22 years ago.
He's in pretty good shape. I feel like the last time we talked about the preview, there was a comment on the YouTubes that said something to the effect of he annoys the actual stuntman because he's insisting on doing stunts that the stuntman could do faster and safer. But then I looked it up and I couldn't find any anything to back that up. So I don't know if it was true or not.
That was one commenter, and there's a lot of people who do their own stunts.
Mm-hmm.
I think who's going to work on this movie and not know that Tom Cruise does his own stunts? Or a lot of them, at least.
Yeah.
So no, I mean, watching this and watching a lot of these movies, again, just it's amazing what the guy does for these movies. Like, he's a fantastic entertainer, and he's great in the movie. Mm-hmm. Yeah, charismatic. He's funny, and he does. And again, it's like you said, he does humanize these moments too. Because while there is all this outlandish stuff going on in it, from scaling these mountains to jumping from rooftop to rooftop to doing all that. Yeah, it is cool that there is still those little moments where he just kind of has to brace himself a little bit first before jumping out a window. And oh yeah, when you see that in the trailer, it's not that he's jumping out the window on another rooftop. He's just jumping out the window onto fucking concrete.
Yep.
He's fine.
He's fine. He never has a plan either. It just kind of works out.
Yeah. I know.
It is half annoying and half catharsis, because it's like, you can kind of watch him and trust that he's going to be fine. But
sure.
It's like, fucking real life is going to happen to this dude eventually.
No, you see, I kind of had that thought in my head too when it was in the last act of this movie, when they were climbing the rope attached to the helicopter on the side of the mountain. I was thinking in my head, there's no way that Ethan Hunt is an atheist. God is on his side.
Yup.
The luckiest.
God that hates bad guys.
Yeah, the luckiest man alive. No, I highly recommend this. I had a blast watching this movie, but I love this series, and if this is 6 movies in, you should know by now if you like the series or not. Uh-huh. So yeah, if you've been a fan of these so far, of course you're gonna like this. You're gonna have a really, really good time with this movie. As for it being like, the best or one of the best of them, like, I don't know, I just saw the movie. So, but no, it's still just a fantastically entertaining movie, and you'll have a really good time if you go see this.
Yeah, Henry Cavill was kind of a weak link for me. Like, he was good at punching stuff, and he was excellent in the action scenes. He didn't really sell me as, like, a creepy bad guy who's just coming off as, like, a smug fuck, which makes sense, because he's a smug fuck. But, I would have preferred if they... Because, like, what's the guy's name with the beard? Like
Kane.
The super bad creepy guy? Like, he was... like stealing the scene every
that guy was great.
He was in. Like, your eyes just
He's
drew
in the
to
last
him.
one too.
Henry Cavill's not like that. He was just a big block of man that was there to punch some stuff.
He had a great look to him in this. Like when Henry Cavill's in the action scenes and he's firing the gun outside the helicopter and things like that, he's got a great kind of evil look to him, and the mustache does help that. His eyes help that too.
Yeah, like a bro-y way, I guess, but it was just like, I would have preferred somebody else.
I was fine with him in the movie. I like Henry Cavill. One of the things I like about Henry Cavill is, and I think this is I've seen some people say they don't like Henry Cavill for this reason, but one of the things I like about him is, and this is one reason why he worked so well in Man from U.N.C.L.E., he has a very kind of 50s and 60s way of delivering some of his lines.
Like a smug fucky way.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, like, and I like that.
Well, I like that Man from Uncle, but
yeah.
that movie was a little left to reality, and that movie's the reason I tend to put Henry Cavill and Armie Hammer in like the same bag.
Yeah.
And I would have way preferred Armie Hammer.
I would have too,
I think he would have done a much better job.
Armie Hammer is a more versatile actor than Henry Cavill is, and
for sure.
And that kind of acting that I see Henry Cavill do a lot does work in a movie like Man from Uncle, where that's totally the tone of the movie. That it's a 60s romp action movie. I liked him in Justice League. I thought, but in Justice
League.
I mean, it's not great, but
would you recommend it?
To rent it or watch it on Netflix, sure. It was better than the last two. But no, there were way better Superman moments in that movie than in the previous two, and I liked him better in that than I did the previous two. But the other two movies, I just didn't really care that much for how they were written. It didn't have much to do with him, really.
Yeah.
But thinking about it, really, that's maybe all I've seen him in. I didn't see Immortals. He was in that.
Did you see, he wasn't Lone Ranger. Armie Hammer
That was Armie Hammer.
I get him confused.
That movie holds up on a second viewing.
Does it?
It does. When I first saw that movie, Brian and I came out of it like...
I thought you hated it.
We did. Brian and I came out of it like, good lord, that was a long piece of shit. And I caught a lot of it again not too long ago and actually enjoyed it a lot more. I was like, man, I was a little harsh on that.
It was going to be that long?
No, I knew it was going to be that long going into it. When Brian and I saw it in theaters, that's one reason we were dreading it so much. But yeah, I saw it again, or most of it again, at least not long ago, and it was not perfect, but it was a lot better than I remembered it.
Well, I mean, like, not so much that you didn't know, like, time-wise, hours and minutes, how long it was going to be, but sometimes when you sit through something a second time, it doesn't seem as long because you know where you're at in the progression.
I mean, that could be it. Yeah. That could be it. I was also kind of doing some stuff on my computer, too.
That's always nice. Yeah, there was a couple... Like, for me, a really good movie is one where I never feel the need to take out my phone, and I did have a couple times this movie when they were just, like, doing laps in Paris. Like, I wonder what Twitter's up to.
Yeah.
No, I gotta pay attention. But I definitely recommend it, especially if you're a fan of the rest of the series. If you've never seen the rest of the series, watch the rest of the series first.
Yeah.
Because there were others in this series, despite not remembering them very well, that I think I enjoyed more than this movie, but it was still fine.
I don't know what my favorite was. I was trying to think about that earlier. I was like, what would my favorite one of this series be?
I think it was the one where, like, Benji and them were in the high-rise, and it was kind of zany, like there was, like, a diamond heist undercurrent, and he was, like, climbing on the side and arguing with people.
Oh, yeah.
I seem to recall enjoying that very, very much.
No, I did. I enjoy all of these movies, even, like I said, even that crazy-ass second movie. I enjoy the second movie for all the reasons it doesn't work.
I think, too, I'm conflating the movies with, like, because, like, I'm like, oh, yeah, and then he had a fist fight with Ronda Rousey, and then, like, drove from one building to the other, but that was Fast and Furious. We're like him and the girl one were like arguing, we'll like climb up the building, and then like his little suction cups start failing. It's like, no, that was an episode of Archer, I think.
The difference between this and like the Fast and the Furious is in Fast and the Furious, when they drive the cars on like the 80th floor, it drives out the window from one building into another building. You think like, that was cool, but they didn't do that. If that happened in this movie, I would sit there and think, oh my god, he just did that.
Well, too, the cars in this movie behave the way cars actually should, whereas the cars in the Fast and Furious behave the way, like, micro machines do when children are pretending to drive them along the edge of a couch.
The last Fast and the Furious movie had zombie cars in it.
Just pouring out the sides of buildings.
Yeah. Should we do trailers?
We shall. Mile 22. Which you weren't in the room for, and I don't remember. So
that's the Wahlberg movie.
Yeah, I couldn't catch the plot of that one to save my life.
I've gotten it a couple of times, and
maybe like a gunsman for.
I think so. It's the Peter Berg movie. I like Peter Berg movies, so yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that. That looks like it might be suspenseful.
Alita Battle Angel.
Oh.
So this is the one where she's got like the big buggy eyes, like Lady
Yeah.
Gaga in that one Lady Gaga music video. And I don't understand. It looks really pretty.
Yeah.
The eyes were very disconcerting, and if that's what they're going for, then that's fine. But if they're trying to make her look like an anime girl, then I'm not really.
That's the second trailer for that movie. There was a first trailer for it some months ago, and it wasn't shown very much. Like, I maybe saw it once in theaters, but it looks like they way toned down her eyes in this trailer, because in that...
Really?
Oh, watch that first trailer.
Okay.
It's like, and that was like... I think it might have been trending that day, because people were like, what the fuck? This is terrifying. It's when I saw that trailer, I was like, okay, I'm kind of okay with this, because it is wildly toned down from how it looked in the first trailer.
Well, maybe I need to watch the first trailer and then watch this shit. Because there's a scene where, like, Christoph Waltz goes to, like, wipe a tear off her eyes, and her eyes, like, her gigantic fucking eyes, like, squish.
Yeah.
And I think they're trying to showcase, like, look how natural it looked. He's wiping a tear off her gigantic fuck off bug eye.
Yeah. Again, like I said, like, having seen the first trailer, I'm like, well... guess this is better. I don't know if that movie will be good or not. Robert Rodriguez is the director of it, so I hope it's good.
Like I said, it's very, very pretty. Those eyeballs, though, I don't know if I can go past the eyeballs.
Yeah.
Bumblebee, which we've gotten the trailer for several times at this point.
So I was laughing. That movie, Bumblebee, looks pretty good, but I was laughing the other day because I was on the phone with Ryan. There's another Transmorphers movie coming out from the Asylum, and these are like the Transformers mockbusters from the Asylum, where they're the Transmorphers. There's another one coming out that was gonna be called Transmorphers 3, but since this is like a spin-off, the Bumblebee, the name of the movie is Hornet. I said to Ryan, I go, was that a character from the other two? He's like, no. Who the fuck is Hornet?
Yeah, her and that robot are gonna end up making up. I think.
Oh, that movie's a love story.
Yes. Of course, so was the first Transformer.
That's true.
Overlord?
That looked like it'd be pretty good. It looks like...
Which one was Overlord?
The one where it looked like Wolfenstein, where it's World War II, and...
it looked like a war movie at first.
Yeah.
Are you sure it was World War II? I guess it must have been, because the Nazis showed up.
I think it was World War II.
Because, like, from the music, I thought it was supposed to be Vietnam at first, but then they landed and there was Nazis.
Right.
But then there's also monsters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It looked like... Throughout that trailer, I was thinking, like, did they finally making a Wolfenstein movie? And so when it said, I don't know if this is based on anything, so forgive me if it is.
Wolfenstein-y font, so maybe...
Right, yeah. Like, could they not get the rights? It looks fun, though. It looks really entertaining. Yes.
Transylvania.
This is
the Wolfenstein movie they're eventually going to make.
This is good enough to release it in theaters.
I'm doing a bad job of remembering stuff today. I don't know what the hell.
I have those days.
Drawing a picture at home of a character, and of course I can't remember his actual character name, so I've just been calling him Larry Israel. Spider Jerusalem. And so at this point he's laughing, but he got pretty mad. I was like, who's that? Larry Israel? He's like, no, it's Spider Jerusalem.
No, god damn it!
I was close. Spider Jerusalem and his friends do hilarious Hunter S. Thompson things. Ken.
Oh, we got that trailer the other day.
Gunhaver the movie. I actually remember the name of this one when I was writing it down, so I just write it down and then stop paying attention. But
yeah.
It still has a gun.
That movie comes out August 31st. That movie's not going to be good.
Yeah, because you were wondering when it came out.
Yeah.
I never understand where the cutoff occurs between, like, summer blockbuster and fall.
It used to be that, like, no one was really looking forward to anything in August, but there's still good shit that comes out in August. But when we're talking, like, close to Labor Day weekend, good luck. Like, something might go in there that might turn out to be pretty good, but that's the exception. It's like the same. I think Labor Day weekend one year is the same weekend with the two movies that were out. Dave and I had to go see the One Direction documentary. Meanwhile, the two Bryans were at that Ethan Hawke Getaway movie.
Was that any good?
Oh, they hated that movie. I think Brian put that as like his worst movie of the year.
In the One Direction movie, did Russell Brand show up and call them all sausages?
Unfortunately, no. It was
Bummer.
a group. That theater was a group of like 10, 12-year-old girls, and then just me and Dave. Like, all these girls were together. It wasn't like they were there separate. They were just sitting in one row, and then me and Dave a couple of rows in front of them, and those girls were screaming as if it were a packed theater, as if they are in the Ed Sullivan Theater and the Beatles are playing, but it's just them, and me and Dave sitting up there, and then when...
You guys should have started screaming, too.
Yeah, one of them was passing out in the parking lot before the movie started. And so then something went wrong with the projector on the trailer. During the trailers, Dave and I didn't have to get up to say anything to the employees about it because every single one of them pile-drived out of the auditorium. Yeah. Like,
Okay, so Venom.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen this trailer yet. I heard you laughing a couple times.
Because I could hear Laura next to me going, "This looks like shit." So I've seen this trailer before a few times. That every time I've said this before, but every time I get this trailer, it just makes me want to see Upgrade again.
Because like the parts where he's got like Venom-y tentacles.
Yeah.
It looked fine, but I'd seen from Twitter the part they were mad about with the face, so I was just waiting for it.
Sure.
And then it comes to the part where it's just like, oh, I pulled my earring out.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
And then the tongue of blah. I was laughing a little bit.
No, I did. I hope it's good. I don't want it to turn out to suck. I want there to be a good Tom Hardy Venom movie, and I love Michelle Williams. She's in it.
So is Spider-Man actually in this movie, or is it just the Adventures of Venom?
I don't know. I think it's a rumor Spider-Man might show up somewhere in the film, but...
So good friend Spider-Man might show up to wish him luck.
Yeah, exactly. A thumbs up.
And then The Meg.
That looks... Oh, hell yeah!
That movie looks pretty amazing.
Yeah, it does. Jason Statham versus Shark?
Versus giant fuck-off shark.
Where do I sign up? That's that's my kind of August movie. You go see Jason Statham, Rainn Wilson, Cliff Curtis, and who else is in this movie? You get to see all these people versus a shark, and I hope to God Jason Statham punches that motherfucker by the end of it.
I liked Rainn Wilson just like, why don't you just tag him? Remember you guys watch Shark Week?
Yeah. A fucking megalodon. Jason, this is the movie I've been waiting for all my life, it feels like.
I feel like the asylum version of the Meg, the shark's gonna have to be like the size of Australia.
Yeah. Oh, don't put it past him.
And like just gigantic tits on it.
Man, Michael Dudikoff better punch that shark.
Oh, and then I skipped out. We also got First Man, which...
That looks fucking intense.
Anxiety attack inducing. At the end, I was like, nope. And Laura's like, what's the matter? You don't think it looks good? I'm like, no, it looks fine. I'm just not fucking seeing it. I will die. I will die in the audience.
But you know how it ends. I mean, it's, you know...
Assuming it's like they end it the way it does in real life.
Oh, like it's gonna have a twist?
Yes. It'd be like the opposite of the Disney version of Hunchback of Notre Dame.
No,
if that makes sense.
I hope that gargoyles show up on this moon and just start shooting bullets at them.
Yes. Laverne, what are you doing here? Quasi? No, I'm done.
Hold the wine and cut the cheese. Just like in the book. No, First Man looks fucking intense, and it's edited and shot like something made around the time of the moon landing, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, half the preview is just them shaking the shit out of these guys.
Oh yeah, that was an IMAX trailer. Like, that's different than the trailer you and I got the other day.
Yeah, I don't remember the last trailer having that much shaky cam.
No, this was like specifically showing off like the IMAX parts in it, so it's showing like the moon landing and everything, and it's, yeah, I want to see that movie on a fucking D-box.
Like it was, what's a D-box?
That's where like the chairs also kind of shake and rotate around.
My chair was shaking anyway because I was just but like that movie the trailer made me genuinely think for, I think, the first time in my life, I don't understand how they got them back from the moon. Mm-hmm. Like, how did they get them back from the moon?
See, you opened up this question to all the moon conspiracy theorists out there.
They didn't, Sarah! Because there was never any men on the moon. The flag, you see, the flag didn't have a shadow.
Earth is flat, moon is a cube. It was all shot in a TV studio by Stanley Kubrick as a deleted scene from Spartacus. Everyone knows this.
They make a movie called Cube Moon that is somehow both a sequel to the movie Cube and the movie Moon.
And it's on the fucking moon.
Yes.
Like, they make it out of the cube and they're like, fuck, we're on the moon!
And now we're gonna get out of this one.
How are we gonna get out of this one, fellas? Let's get off this stinking moon. Credits.
I'd watch it. It sounds less anxiety-inducing than this movie.
Again, that will be the Asylum version. Yeah. This is the only movie that I'm at tonight, since this was about 2.5 hours.
God, was it really?
Yeah, it was about 2.5 hours. Dave and I believe, are gonna be at Teen Titans Go to the Movies. Which is also getting really good reviews. So
it's good that you're taking Dave too, because I feel like there's probably going to be a lot of references in the background that he would get.
Well, he and I have been all the other DC movies together.
It'd be good to take him to a good one.
Yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed. I know, right? Like the one, if we're talking like the DC like extended universe, the one that he wasn't there to review was the good one. He wasn't there to review Wonder Woman. He's there for all the others.
Well, I will say he watched Wonder Woman on his own steam and he wasn't that impressed. Like, he did. But
he talked about that a few times in other reviews we've done since then. Mm-hmm. But like, yeah, in the actual reviews, it was just me and you, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's coming out tomorrow, and I don't know if anything else comes out this weekend. But all right, see you guys.
Bye.